My name's Emily Martin, and I'm taking you behind the scenes to talk to equine artists from around the world. This is Artist Unlocked. Alright guys, welcome back. It is episode 3 of Artist Unlocked. This week we have Caroline Sigwalt of Horse Heaven Studios. I've been following Caroline for a while on Instagram. We go way back, and she is primarily an airbrush artist. She creates beautiful pieces, and I really just wanted to show you guys what she's all about. If you guys are enjoying the show so far, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. I post new episodes every Friday at 6 p.m. If you're watching the episode right now, you can go ahead and listen to it as well if that's easier for you on your drive into work or things like that. The show can be found on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and I'll have the links to those in the description if you want to check it out. If you're listening to the episode on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can go ahead and watch it on my YouTube channel. It's Frost Studios Equine Art. And without further ado, let's get into the episode. For those who don't know, go ahead and just introduce yourself.
Okay. So my name's Caroline Sigwalt, and I am the painter for Horse Heaven Studios. I've been in the hobby for, I think, since 2012, but around 2015 I got out, and then around 2018 I came back. So, I mean, I've been around for a while. I mean, I was around when, like, Studio Thorn Rose was like just starting to, like, you know, pick up a lot of followers and all that stuff. So Kylie was one of my biggest inspirations at that time. And then I got into high school, and it just kind of didn't seem like it was a great fit for me to be in the hobby at that point, because there's a lot of drama that was happening then too. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna bounce out. And then I came back. I still had the Instagram and all that stuff, and I would pop in every once in a while and see all the models and stuff that they were coming out with. And in 2018 is really when I came back, because I can't remember what the theme was for Briarfest, but I saw all those models, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll come back. And there was a couple like customs and stuff that I saw. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna start to try to get back into it. So as far as like what I do, for my specialty is basically just like airbrushing, and I do some resculpts and stuff. Like my newest Bobby Joe resculpt that I did to a reining horse. That's probably my favorite one that I've done, but I've really gotten out of collecting briars. I used to conga the Roxy mold. So I tried to, like, I sold all of my Roxys, and then when I came back, I kind of tried to, like, pick some more up, and I just, like, I'm not really into briars anymore. So I just, like, yeah, I sold, I had both the braided and the loose mane Diana, which I'm pretty sure I still have the loose mane Diana, but I sold quite a few of them. If I was going to keep a Roxy or buy a Roxy, it would probably be Spot On or something.
Yeah.
Right now I'm just mostly into resins.
I think you and I have like kind of a similar journey, because I was actually saying in another interview I was doing earlier today, like I was also on when Kylie got her Instagram, and it's just weird to think of like being on there at that time.
Yeah.
Ages ago.
I know.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, I took a couple years break. I graduate in the fall from college, so school kind of got in the way, I feel like. And so then I just kind of started slowly getting back into it. And obviously, like, behind me I have like a few that they're either like sentimental, like my grandmother gave me a few, and like things like that. But yeah, I feel like we have like a similar arc.
But yeah, I mean, I was around, and there was a lot of customizers that were around at the same time that aren't doing it anymore. And then there's also like customizers that weren't even like customizing back then. So I mean, I don't know. And I mean, I was there when a lot of people were just starting out too. So, and then those people have blown up now, and it's like crazy that they have more followers than I do, but they probably were, you know, doing all that stuff while I was out of the hobby. So
Yeah.
I did a complete overhaul on my Instagram. Is when I came back, I like archived like most of my posts, and I'm saying like I had over like 1,200 posts, and I went through and like archived all of them, and then because I wanted my Instagram to look different, and I don't know, like I'm gaining a lot more like people like commenting and all that stuff on my Insta from doing like drastic customs and all that stuff, and maybe painting some resins. But I think right now is like to catch people's eye, you have to do something that a lot of people aren't doing. Like I mean, I could paint resins all day, but you know, I mean, unless I'm, you know, doing something super out of the ordinary like this, here, I'll show you.
Yeah.
This is my Lafire that I just cut up today. So like I'm gonna try to like keep doing a couple Briar customs and all that stuff, because I mean they're gonna be more affordable and all that stuff than resins. Not everybody wants to buy resins all the time. So
right. Tell me a little bit about your journey like into the hobby. I know you kind of went over it a little bit, but did you start collecting before obviously like the whole Instagram scene came on? Like what was your journey like with that?
My mom had a couple like older Briars, like the Proud Arabian, like the Arabian Stallion, like not the one that's standing, not the one that's like moving. So she had some of those. She had Kemosabe. She had Stud Spider. She had some, and it was just kind of like, okay, well, like you can have these, but you're not going to do anything with them because, you know, they're sentimental to her. So those are still at her house. And then my grandpa bought me that, you know, that semi-rearing Mustang.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh gosh, I can't remember what his name was, but he was like the Red Dun. And he bought me that. And then he also bought me an original Secession. I don't even know how to say her name. And Lafire. So and then I ended up selling those when I got out of the hobby, and I kind of regret it because not everybody has the original ones. A lot of the people have like the remake that Briar did. I had those, and then I know that they would always have Briars at the tax stores and all that stuff, and my mom would always hardly ever buy them for me because they were just so expensive. So I kind of did that, and then what I would do is I started actually, like, I had a YouTube before I had an Instagram, and I like would film myself and do like time lapses of like painting, but I wasn't really good at all. And so then that's kind of how I got it started. So I mean, I was like doing all that stuff because YouTube was around like for a long time. So I was on there first, and then once they made Instagram, I made like myself a personal Instagram, and then I like made myself like a Briar Instagram because I started noticing that there was people like, you know, making Instagrams for the Briars and stuff. So I ended up doing that, and that's kind of what kickstarted it from there. Like I can like go all the way back, and I went to Briar Fest in 2014 too. It's the 25th anniversary one. So I started doing that, and okay, so Instagram had to be around for a little bit before that. It must have been like 2012 or 2013.
Yeah, because I went to Briar Fest in 2013, and I'm pretty sure Instagram was around. I don't know if I had my account yet, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, because I remember posting about that, and most of my posts from my old Instagram are archived, so I can go back through and like see my memories and all that stuff and see any old customs that I did. But it took me a long time to figure it out and like figure out what, you know, how to do this, how to do that. And like, because at that point there wasn't like people that were doing tutorials and all that stuff. It was just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna try if this works, and if it doesn't, you know. That's how I kind of got started with everything.
Cool. So then I guess a slight pivot and then we'll come back to the customs. But do you have a favorite or a least favorite part of the hobby in general? This could be like artistry related or otherwise.
I mean, my least favorite part of the hobby is the drama, because it just, no matter when I would be on my Instagram, there's always been drama, especially back then, because a lot of people were like under the age of 18 and they weren't nice to other people, and they constantly were bashing on people and all that stuff.
What's your favorite part of the hobby?
My favorite part of the hobby is probably how people are so supportive. I don't know how to say her name, but I love DJ B. She is super awesome. She is super like supportive of you, and she's just like, if I had to probably pick a favorite person on my Instagram, it'd probably be DJ B. Along with like a few others. Like, I don't want anybody to feel left out. But she's just like, anytime that I post anything, she's like, oh my gosh, this looks awesome. And especially that new draft custom that she just finished, like, he is awesome. I was so looking forward to meeting her at Briarfest this year, and I'm so upset the Briarfest got canceled, but hopefully she'll be able to go next year and I'll be able to meet her next year. So
yeah, I'm hoping to maybe go next year too. Yeah, that was like super disappointing, but she's one of those ones that I guess I discovered like, I don't know, like less than a year ago, but she's like really blown up. She's super talented and she's super supportive.
Yeah, because I mean, I think that I kind of want to start like doing some more YouTube videos. I don't know if I'll like film my face, but I've made a YouTube video of like that Levi that I did. I like did like a little video. It wasn't like a tutorial. It was just kind of like a showing you how I do it type thing. Because I know a lot of people may not have liked it because they thought it was going to be more of a tutorial than like just a video of me airbrushing him. But it was also the first video that I had made of any of my customs for a while.
Yeah.
And on my old Instagram, I used to do videos like that all the time. So I'm not sure if that's the reason why like I had so many people following me, because I know that a lot of people like seeing those like in progress pictures, but I also felt like my Instagram got cluttered with all those videos and pictures than what it looks like now. So I don't know, there's pros and cons. I want it to look clean, but I also don't want it to look like, I also want people to see how I do stuff. So
right, yeah, there's a balance for sure. I like seeing the process, even if artists aren't like, you know, having a voiceover of like, this is what I use and this is what I do. It's nice to just see them sometimes like in the process. So I think those kinds of videos definitely are still cool to watch.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Kind of similar to like favorites, I guess. Do you have any like favorite memories or moments so far in the hobby?
At Briarfest 2014, it was the 25th anniversary, so they had like some models that were like solid silver and all that stuff. And so I had gotten all the special runs that I wanted, and I had an extra ticket because it was me, my mom, and one of my friends that had gone. And so we had gotten everything that we wanted. Well, this lady had run out of special run tickets, and she was like, okay, well, if you go through and get this horse for me, like I'll pay you for it. Well, it just so happens that the horse that I got for her was a solid silver horse. So obviously I couldn't keep it, and I was a little disappointed that I wasn't able to keep it, but it was super awesome, like seeing her like super happy that she got a silver horse, even though they probably sold for a lot. It was not a very popular mold either, so I was like, yeah, I don't care, like I'll go through and get it for you. It was the silver filgery, so it was like the one that was silver with white speckles, but this one was all solid. I don't remember the mold name, and so that was probably my favorite. There's been a couple moments where it's like, okay, like it's super nice seeing a lot of people comment on your pictures and all that stuff of customs that you finished, because it just makes you feel like you put all this good, like, hard time and work and stuff into a model to see other people appreciate it too. So
Yes.
it's not necessarily a specific moment, but just, you know, one of my favorite things. So
I totally agree. I think that's like one of my favorite parts of it too, is just getting to see like others appreciate the work that you put into something. It really like at least
yeah,
helps like keep me motivated to keep going.
yeah.
So I guess going more into like your studio slash workspace, I know artists have sort of a wide range of where they work. Some people it's like their kitchen table, some people have like a designated space. What does that look like for you?
So I actually have like a designated space for mine. We are very fortunate that my boyfriend and I bought a house that has 3 bedrooms in it. And so one of the bedrooms is like a smaller bedroom, so I made it into like an office for me. So let's see. So this is, let me scoot back a little bit. So this is like my desk area. And then this is like, so I just put this up. This is like a pegboard setup, and then I have my pigments and stuff down here with my filing cabinet, and then here, and then over here is just where I keep some more models. But this is where I paint and airbrush and all that stuff. I have like a little like one of those cake turner trays, and then there's my airbrush, and that's about it.
That's awesome though that you have a nice little space.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to have it, so it's easy, you know, to have and all that stuff.
Do you do like, what are your favorite mediums to use, favorite tools, things like that?
Okay, so I have an Awada Eclipse gravity fed airbrush. It's the HPCS. So that's the one that I use, and then I use a lot of this Model Air paint, and I actually got that idea from DJB, and I'm so glad that I bought it off of Amazon, because that's how I do my bays now, is mostly with that set. I have just like a whole thing of paint brushes and Prismacolor pencils, so I do my hooves with the pencils and airbrush, so it's kind of a mixture. And then I just started using golden high flow acrylics.
Do you like it? Because I'm looking to get an airbrush to like base coat my models before I do oils, and I'm trying to decide whether to go with like the Model Air or the golden fluid.
The golden fluid, so the Model Air is made by Vallejo, and golden is just like their own brand. The golden, it's super like, if I had to choose one over the other, I'd probably choose, that's hard. Okay, so some pros to the golden is that it's super, both of them you can put straight into the airbrush, besides like these ones. These ones, this is what I use for my whites. And it's still a Vallejo, and you can still run it through an airbrush, but you have to thin it down with water. But the Model Air and as long as you get the high flow, you're able to put them straight into the airbrush. The golden acrylics tend to dry like glossy, versus the Model Air dries matte. And you have a more variety of colors with the Model Air than you do with golden high flow. Because I mean, if you go on like Dick Blick or whatever, they have like a bunch of different colors that you can choose from, but they don't have a lot of like natural neutral colors. They're like, you know, bright pinks, blues, bright greens, all that stuff. So you kind of really have to pick and choose between those. But as far as like, I like the black, and I mean, if you use matte finish over the top of it, I mean, it's still matte. So I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. But I have the black, I have burnt sienna, I have raw sienna, and then I have like off-white in the golden fluid, and that's it. So that's what I bought and used for that, and then I have the model air colors that I use. So
Do you have a favorite scale to work in or a least favorite scale to work in?
my favorite would be traditionals. I still take micro commissions, but probably micro would be like my least favorite, just because they're so small. They take a lot of time to do details and all that stuff, but I mean, I still do micro commissions, and I mean, they're not hard, they're just super small and all that stuff. So it's, if you get a white speck on there, it's super hard to, get it off because they're so small, and you gotta like kind of sit there and like try to get it off without scraping anything off and all that stuff. The hardest thing on micros is the eyes, because I mean, they're just like, they're too tiny.
And then you're done the whole eye. It's like,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to pack detail into that?
Yeah. I don't really hardly ever paint stablemates. I bought a Mojo. He's gonna be a sales piece, but I mean, he's not gonna be hard to paint at all. But I just like traditionals because they have so much more detail than little ones. When Raven releases her like stablemates size juggy, I'm definitely gonna buy a couple of those, and I'll probably keep one.
So do you have any tips for like young artists looking to get into doing what you're doing?
Watch a lot of YouTube videos if you can, to make sure that you get the right stuff starting out, because if you don't have the right mediums to work with, or I mean, I don't want to say that you have to go out and spend like $300, $400 on all this stuff just when you're getting started, but it does get discouraging when you may not be using the same mediums as like, a professional painter, and then you compare your work to something like somebody else. Just like understand that you're still starting out and that you may not have the right stuff right now, but as you keep progressing, you're gonna know what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what looks the best on your model, all that stuff, so then you know what you need to buy in the future.
What's one thing you'd like to see more of in the hobby?
Resins, just like there's a lot of people that sculpt resins, but just like see more of them, and for them to like not be as expensive, because there's people that probably want to get into resins that just don't want to, that want like nice quality resins but don't want to spend like $500, $600 on them. But I can see it in the artist's perspective that if they do a smaller run and it gets popular, that they're gonna sell out, and then they'll be worth more like later. But at the same time, like, it's kind of hard because people, the people that can't afford that are going to stick with Briars versus going into resins, which there's nothing wrong with that at all, because there's a lot of people that still like Briars, and I mean, I don't have anything wrong with Briars. If I hadn't like that draft that DJB did, like if she sells him, like I would be perfectly happy to have him in my collection. I mean, I will keep customs and all that stuff, and I thought about keeping that Rainer, but since the whole like COVID thing was going on, I was like, okay, I don't know if like I'm gonna have like a lot of extra money and all that stuff, so I just ended up selling her. She went to a really good home, so
That's good.
but just I want to see more like nice things in the hobby, like just like people being nicer to people continuing to hype up other people, and for people to give new artists a chance to thrive too. Because I mean, if you are constantly going to the professional artists that are making a ton of money off of commissions and always getting commissions from them, yeah, I mean, I understand they have a business and they want your business, but if you're someone new trying to start out and you never want to get commissions from them because like you never seen their work in person or something, I mean, sometimes you just have to take that risk. I mean, normally people that if they're starting out, they're not going to number one charge you an arm and a leg like professional artists are. So I mean, even if it's not good, you're out maybe like $100 to $150. you know, but I mean, it's just, you know, giving other people a chance.
Overall, what does the hobby mean to you?
It means a lot to me, honestly, because I mean, if I didn't have this to do, I would be bored around the house a lot.
Yeah.
Especially like with everything that's going on right now, because I sold my horse because I want to get another one. So I don't have her to work on anymore. And my retired horse, I don't want to ride her that much because she's not that much fun to ride anymore. So it's just like, it's just something nice to be able to have to do instead of like, you know, constantly being bored or trying to find something else to do.
It's an outlet.
Yeah, it's basically what it is. I mean, it's super nice to be able to have like that fan base, but I wish that I had more like shows around me so that I could get my work out there, because I mean, I feel like those horses that I've done recently probably would have had more interest in them if I had like my work out there that's gone to shows and like done well at shows. But a lot of my work hasn't been going to show homes, so yeah, just basically trying to get out there and all that stuff. So
awesome. So I guess this kind of ties into the next question that I had, which was like, what are your future goals? Is your goals to like get out to more shows or get your customs to more shows?
Well, I live in Iowa, so there's not a lot of horse shows around me. I think like the closest one is, well, there used to be one up by like Waterloo, but I don't know if they do it anymore because I've gone to that one before. But the closest one was like Midwest like Model Live or whatever. And yeah, I want to get out and do more live shows. I've been entering some photo shows and all that stuff. But what I really like, my goals are to get good enough to where if one of my horses enters in a show, it's going to place like, you know, top or reserve or whatever like that. So I know that there's a lot of artists out there that, you know, it's so hard. I don't know. I would not be able to be a judge because it's just like, there's so many horses that people are going to set in front of the table. And it's just like, okay, you have to take into consider the conformation, the breed, the paint job, how well it's done and all that stuff. And it's just like, okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Because it's like, if you put 4 different Levi's in front of me, okay, well, they're probably going to be all the same breed. So basically what I'm going to be, and they're going to be the same conformation because, I mean, yeah. So then it's just like, okay, what does this one look like? What does this one look like? What does this one look like? What does this one look like, you know? So it's just like, yeah. But that's kind of why I like custom briars too, because it's like, okay, if you're doing a custom briar and you've like repositioned it, then they're basing it off of the conformation that you repositioned it to, along with your paint job, versus just repainting it and having the same like conformation on that and all that stuff. So yeah, just one of my goals would just to become one of like the top tier artists and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's an awesome goal. I just want to give you this like end portion to plug your work. So any places you want people to go check out, social media, things you want people to keep an eye out for, things like that.
Well, I'm on Facebook now, so all of my stuff across the board is all going to be tied to Horse Heaven Studios. So my Instagram is at Horse Heaven Studios, my Facebook is Horse Heaven Studios, and if I ever make a YouTube, it would probably be Horse Heaven Studios. I have a website too, so that's, you know, it's www.horseheavenstudios.com. So it's fairly easy for you to be able to go across different like social media aspects and be able to look up my work. Yeah, that's about it.
Alright, that's the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely go ahead and follow Caroline on all of her social medias. I'll have her Instagram, Facebook, and website linked below in the description for you guys to check out. Go ahead and leave a comment down below letting me know what was your favorite part of the episode, and do you have a favorite episode so far? Stay tuned for next week's episode featuring Anna Helt of Dreamflite Design Studios. She's a tack maker, so I'm super excited to feature her. Go ahead and check out the description below for links to any of the tools and materials mentioned in the episode. If you want to get a more behind the scenes look about the show, as well as follow me on my artistic adventures outside of the show, go ahead and follow my Instagram. It's Frost Studios Equine Art. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!